Hello friends, so this is Friday, and as you all know, on Friday I love to answer the questions that you ask in the comment section below. So following the tradition, let's get started with today's video, reading out loud the questions that has been asked in the videos that we have uploaded on our channel. Let's get started. So the first question is from Richards, who is asking, is Bell's palsy also the same as face drop from stroke? Should I do your exercises? I'm scared to do the wrong thing. Well, thank you for this question, Richard. There is a lot of difference when it comes to facial paralysis that's related to stroke and that's related to Bell's palsy. Even though the same nerve is impacted, the lesion or else the problem where this is happening is very different. In Bell's palsy, the problem is in middle ear at the nerve level versus in stroke, the problem is in brain. So while the exercises stays pretty similar, the way in which these exercises needs to be done, the dosage of the exercises, where these exercises, at what intensity that needs to be done, absolutely changes. Hence, it's always safe to work with a physical therapist who is experienced in facial rehab. One key distinct feature when it comes to facial paralysis to the stroke or facial paralysis due to Bell's palsy is the fact that facial paralysis due to stroke is an upper motor neuron lesion, which means the problem is in brain and the lower fourth of the face is paralyzed. The upper fourth is preserved because that is being controlled by the other side of the brain. Versus in Bell's palsy, since it's a lower motor neuron lesion, which means it's more peripheral in nature, there is a complete partial paralysis. But the difference is that the stroke recovery takes much longer. The facial paralysis due to stroke will take more time compared to the Bell's palsy recovery. So, the way in which you do the practices, how many repetitions you do, the strategy in which these muscle needs to be trained is very different. I hope this answers your question. Alright, now the next question is from Noora. And she's asking, is it possible to recover from Bell's palsy after 7 years? Well, Noora, majority of time people recover from Bell's palsy within 1 year itself. It's very rare that people don't recover even after 2 or 3 years. What you see on the face is not the lack of recovery. In fact, it's a residual that is left post Bell's palsy. These are in the form of muscle weakness that is achieved or happened because of wrong muscle activation. Hence, it's ideal to see a therapist who can understand your face and can guide you whether you have recovered from your Bell's palsy or not. My first suggestion will be, please see a neurologist and get your nerve conduction velocity test and EMG test done, which will actually give you an understanding whether you have healed from your Bell's palsy or not. Because, as I told you, majority of time people recover 100% from Bell's palsy in 1 year itself. It's very, very, very rare that people will not be recovering from Bell's palsy beyond 1 year. I hope this answers your question. Okay, now let's move on to the next question, which is from Explore Your Dreams, and she asks, ma'am, hemifacial spasm or Bell's palsy mein kya difference hai? Let me translate this in English. What is the difference between hemifacial spasm and Bell's palsy? Well, both of these conditions are absolutely different and they cannot be compared together because there are a lot of different features that you will observe when you have hemifacial spasm versus when you have Bell's palsy. So even though the nerve that is impacted in both the cases is same, which is facial nerve, but the cause that has impacted this nerve is very different. When it comes to hemifacial spasm, it's the pressure that is built up on the nerve due to the vascular structures around the nerve versus in the pressure that is built up on the facial nerve due to inflammation and infection leads to Bell's palsy. When we talk about clinical presentation, the Bell's palsy is something that will lead to facial paralysis versus in hemifacial spasm there will be no facial paralysis, but there will be involuntary contractions and spasms that the person will experience on the face. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the face will start contracting and getting stiff and spasmodic, and then it naturally will come back. And this will keep on happening again and again. Versus in Bell's palsy, since it's an inflammation and infection, the nerves that are sending signals to your face gets blocked and your face stop moving and functioning initially, and as you recover, the movement starts coming back. What later on can develop in the form of synchinosis is also very different than hemifacial spasm. Synchinosis are co-contraction, or you can say involuntary movement on the face that people experience while doing some facial actions. Versus in hemifacial spasm, the facial movements that happens involuntarily, they are abrupt. They are not linked to movements, they just all of a sudden happen. When it comes to treatment, the treatment of Bell's palsy is more about antiviral medication, steroids, whereas in hemifacial spasm, it's majority about surgery and Botox in certain cases, and at sometimes some neuroinhibitors. So these are some key features that differentiate hemifacial spasms versus synchinosis. Hemifacial spasm needs more medical management than Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy do need too, but once that medical management is done, it's more of the rehab part. In hemifacial spasm, the person might need to continue the medication. So these are the key differences that you should be aware of. Alright, the next question is from Orion, and he is asking, from when shall we start doing facial exercises? My mother had a stroke on 14 June 2026. She is still in the hospital. She is stable. I want to start this as soon as possible. Well, thank you, Orion, for this question. If your mother is hospitalized right now, you should definitely allow her to rest and let her come back home. And then you can very gradually and easily start the facial exercises. I hope this helps. Let's move on to the next question. This question is from Casual Show, who is asking, ma'am, I'm confused about this disease. Some say you recover, some not. Ma'am, what is this disease? And please help me, like I am suffering from past 10 days. I have very stressful doubts in my mind that I am recovering from it or not. Please clarify my doubts and help me, whether it is curable, it takes time, or how much time. How much I need to focus on exercises, electrical muscle stimulation, for how much period I need to take. Thank you for this question. Well, let me talk to you about Bell's palsy. This is an inflammatory condition where your facial nerve gets inflamed due to viral infection. At this time, your nerve gets swollen, and due to that swelling, the nerve gets compressed, and all the neurotransmitters that is being traveling from your brain to your face gets blocked. That's why your face gets paralyzed. Here, the main line of treatment is taking your steroid medication in the first 72 hours. So my first suggestion is, if you feel a sudden weakness on the face, please see your ENT or neurologist as soon as possible and start your medication right away. Once that has been done, the rehab plays a very critical role. Usually, the time that it takes for a Bell's palsy to recover is 90 days in 95% of time. And that's the time you should definitely wait for the natural healing to happen. This condition has very good prognosis, so people recover from it very nicely. Only 5% of people are the ones who are left with residuals. But in that case also, majority of time the recovery is full. The residuals are because of the secondary complications and issues. That's where your rehabilitation plays a critical role. When it comes to electrical stimulation, there are studies which have shown negative outcomes in the later stages. So it's not advisable much to take extensive electrical stimulation. If your face is completely flaccid at that time, if you take it, it's okay. But the moment you see that there are some visible contraction, please stop your electrical stimulation. They are not needed much. You should focus on your facial exercises and facial practices. When I talk about facial exercises, they are not some random exercises that you should do. They have to be graded and structured based on what your muscles are functioning at that particular period of time. That's not all. Doing your facial massages, facial stretches are equally important. That's why my suggestion will be, please see a facial rehab therapist who have a very clear understanding of Bell's palsy. I hope this helps. Now let's move on to the next question, which is from Ms. Shushma Garg. And she is asking, ma'am, I'm very much worried about my eye. Sometimes I get so much depressed. Please help me. Well, eye twitches are very common when it comes to synchinosis. Your lower eyelid and the upper eyelid will close involuntarily when you do any actions around your mouth. This is particularly called as oro-ocular synkinesis. Now, if you see, the contraction is happening in the inward direction, which means that your eye muscles are contracting whenever you are doing facial movements. So the first key is relaxing this eye muscles. You can take warm compress, you can do gentle eye massages, and you can do gentle dabbing around your eyelids whenever you experience this. Along with that, graded oral movements without allowing the synkinesis to kick in is the key when it comes to helping your eye muscles recover. So please don't worry, start working towards this recovery process. Alright friends, so these were the questions that I found on my comment box. I hope these answers were helpful for you. If you want me to answer your question, feel free to put your questions in the comment section below in any of the video that I post on my channel. On that note, I'll end this video here and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.